We're cooking breakfast with my favorite camp cooking tool, a pie iron.
And I can almost guarantee that there's at least one new recipe that you're going to want to add to your camping menu for your next trip.
Now, I love these things for lots of reasons, but the main reason is they act like a mini oven. So basically anything you could cook in an oven, you can cook in a pie iron. Pie irons can be used over campfire coals. They can also be used elevated on a grate over a larger campfire, and they also work over charcoal as well. So there's plenty of options to be able to use these no matter how you're cooking while you're camping. I have plenty of other ideas of how you can use a pie iron for lunch, dinner, and also dessert, which I'll link up here and also in the description. All right, I'm gonna share with you some of my favorite breakfast pie iron recipes right now.
Now, I've put these recipes in order of my personal favorites, and I'm saving the best for last, but each member of my family thinks one of these recipes is the best, so I'm sure you'll find one that you love. They're all actually really good. Now let's get this breakfast party started with some stuffed waffles. My kids love using waffles in the pie iron. It gives a little extra special breakfast touch, but you could definitely use bread in this recipe as well. All we're gonna do is spread on some hazelnut spread or Nutella, sliced bananas, peanut butter, and then we're gonna put these in the pie iron. They don't take too long to toast up. Everything kind of melts together and it's absolutely delicious. And of course, you can vary up what you stuff inside those waffles. Switch out the bananas with fresh strawberries and strawberry preserves. Speaking of strawberries, they're also really good on a waffle with some cream cheese. Let's stick with these strawberries for this next pie iron breakfast, strawberry French toast. Now, you can make regular French toast in a pie iron and it's delicious, but this one just kind of makes it into a sandwich and takes it to the next level. To make 4 pie iron sandwiches, whisk up 4 eggs with 2/3 of a cup milk, add a teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Add a pinch of salt and whisk those together well. We're gonna dip both sides of our bread into that egg mixture and put it in our pie iron. Layer on those strawberry preserves, your fresh strawberries, and then another slice of coated bread and cook up in the pie iron for about 10 to 15 minutes over the campfire. Eat it as is for a little handheld breakfast sandwich or add some syrup and make it even better. We're staying on this sweet train for one more stop. Remember, we're saving the best for last and the savory ones are coming. We've got cinnamon roll apple pies. Now, you could probably argue that this is more of a dessert, but we're gonna call it a super sweet breakfast and your kids are going to love you for it. Peel and thinly slice 2 Granny Smith apples and then add to those 1 tablespoon of flour, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. Coat the apples well and set them aside. Lay your cinnamon roll between a piece of parchment paper and roll it out using a rolling pin, or in my case, the side of a juice glass. Place a flattened cinnamon roll on the bottom of your pie iron and add in some of that apple mixture. Top it with another flattened cinnamon roll on top, trying to press the edges together if possible. Cook over campfire coals for about 20 minutes, flipping halfway through, and you just made yourself dessert for breakfast. I love cooking cinnamon rolls while camping. I've got 3 other ways to make them. I'll link that video above. Now let's get to those savory breakfasts, which will always be my favorites over the sweet ones. We've got bacon egg hash browns. There's no bread in this recipe. Instead, we're going to use frozen hash browns, but you can also use freshly shredded potatoes as well. Layer in 3 slices of bacon into the bottom of your pie iron and then add some hash browns on top. Now I must stop here and say, I didn't use a slice of cheese in this video, but I've used it before and I've used it since, and it's way better. I would highly recommend a slice of cheddar right on top of those hash browns. Before, you whisk up 1 egg with salt and pepper and add it on top, and then fold that bacon over the top and cook it over the campfire until that bacon is nice and crispy. At this point, the egg will also be cooked through. Now, the one downside of this recipe is that the hash browns don't really get crispy. It's still good, but I love a crispy hash brown. If you're like me, you could just layer the bacon on the bottom and then add in your egg on top of that with hash browns on top of that and some extra butter or oil on top of the potatoes, and then close it up. You'll get crispy bacon on one side, crispy hash browns on the other. Although it's not quite a handheld sandwich anymore, it is so good. But it's not quite as good as this last recipe, sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. Refrigerated biscuits with the layers work best in this recipe because we're going to take each biscuit and separate it into 2 pieces. This will be the top and the bottom of each sandwich. Oil that pie iron well. Eggs love to stick. And then slice up some pre-cooked sausage links, or you can use pre-cooked sausage patties as well. To assemble the sandwiches, we're going to start by stretching out the biscuits slightly just to make them a little bigger to fit in the pie iron. Put those on the bottom and then layer on cheese and sausage. Then whip up 1 egg with some salt and pepper and pour it on top. Place the other half of your biscuit on top, and then we're going to cook it over the campfire for about 20 minutes, flipping halfway through. It's basically everything you would want in a breakfast cooked up into a hot little pocket. There you have it, my go-to pie iron breakfast recipes that we bring at least one of on every trip we take. We also make one of these for breakfast on every trip we take. Check out this recipe next.